on this live today. My name is Rajat Chawla. I'm on a mission to help build human centric leaders who are delivering great customer and employee experiences. And I do it through customer centric framework. I run masterclasses on customer experience and employee experience and also help them get global credible certifications. So today I'm going to talk about something very interesting. There is so much of opportunity there right now in the area of customer experience. There are more than 64,000 customer experience jobs on LinkedIn, which mean on the other side, there are so many people who are getting these job breakthroughs within my community. People I know personally are getting job breakthroughs, are getting into new exciting jobs. Many of them are looking for new job opportunities. So there is so much of action happening. And what I noticed is that many a times people are not well prepared when they enter into a new job to make most of it. Especially, it is very, very critical to make most of the initial days. The first 90 days can actually make a big difference. As it said, first impression is the last impression, though not always true in some cases. But what it means is there's a great opportunity, even in in the role of world's most powerful leader, if I may say, of a most powerful country. I'm talking about the American president in US. They track 90-day performance. So today I'm going to talk about how to perform well, how to succeed in the first 90 days of your new job. If you're watching this, if you're watching the recording, feel free to let me know what do you think about this. Is this something that you've ever thought about, or do you think it's really important to perform well in the first 90 days of your new exciting job that you got with a lot of effort, with a lot of focus and efforts? Right? So let's get dive in. I'm going to share with you a simple mind map today. If you're watching this live or watching recording, I would be happy to hear from you, and feel free to sprinkle it with your questions because that will make it much more meaningful. So, new CX job, first 90 days to succeed in your new role. And I've broken it down month wise. I've broken it down. What can you focus on in each month? Though this is not really written in stone, you can deploy this strategy to stay focused in certain areas. However, you can also interchange the month two to month three, or month two into month one, based on the ground, because your situation can vary. But this will give you a good framework to get started, to know what are some of the things which could be super important for you to succeed, for you to be actually seen as a contributor and somebody who brings in right kind of experience credentials into your new job. Of course, it also depends on at what level you're joining, what kind of a role you're joining, whether you're an individual contributor or whether you're in a leadership role, middle management, or a senior leadership role, depending on that. But I'm going to talk about the customer experience professionals, customer success professionals, and professionals who's actually interfacing with the customer and customer deliveries. So month one, how do you plan your month one? I would say month one, begin by really acceleration of your learning, because you're a new ecosystem, you're in a new environment. In fact, I was talking to one of the leaders from Amazon who attended my customer experience masterclass recently, and it was really interesting to see that he was given 2 months, and he is at a leadership level, at a middle management level. 2 months to learn and go through a lot of really self learning material and opportunity to absorb and get acquainted to the culture of the organization. However, you may not get that many days for your learning. So you should be actually going proactive in your learning. Do not wait for people to come. Of course, you should not really burden other people by saying, tell me this, tell me this. I've seen new enthusiasts joining an organization they could be going on two extremes. One, depending on others completely, waiting on them and thinking, somebody will come and tell me and spoon feed me. That won't work. On the other end, I've also seen people who actually become very pushy to get time from others and want to learn faster. Though you want to accelerate your learning, but you have to be conscious enough of people's availability and time and take it in your own hands. So that's going to be a fine balance. Number two is understand business and political network. A lot of people are very enthusiastic in the beginning and start to see certain gaps or certain opportunities. When they see gaps, they just want to tell someone to start, giving their ideas. How can we do better to make a first, great impressions. So keep making notes of that. Don't be in a hurry to really, open the hose full thrust and give too much. You first need to absorb, understand the business and political network. To tell you a story, from my personal experience, it happened with me. I actually got to visit for a global assignment out of India, and I saw certain opportunities as well as certain gaps. And I came back to my boss with a lot of enthusiasm. Probably that was almost like 20 years back, and I would, tell everything as it was happening, and my boss knew everything, but I didn't see him reacting. It took me some time to realize that he knows everything, and there's a reason why he is taking his own time, because there's a business and political network in the organization that you need to respect, and then that you need to leverage and become part of, right? The third thing is knowing your leadership. That would include your boss, that will include the other people who are senior to you. Start getting to know them before you start to sharing your ideas. But it's good, depending on how comfortable you are, you need to start understanding their vision. In fact, go one or two levels above your immediate boss to learn how the organization leadership thinks. That will help you to support your boss and help you to support your organization in a much effective, better way. But stay on course of learning first, then trying to get the brownie points, because that can happen in your enthusiasm. So stay course, stay balanced, and stay steadfast rather than trying to accelerate. Now, if we move on to the next month, what can you actually focus on month two? If you're watching this, do give me a feedback as to how it makes sense to you. Are you think are you aligned with this? Does it resonate with you? I'll be happy to understand your viewpoint. Okay, then, since you are got into a customer experience role, and we actually, in our masterclass, we really go deep into defining the customer experience vision and share some of the visions of top companies who are most customer centric companies, what it includes. So I believe you need to understand the customer experience vision of the organization. Since you're getting into a CX role, what is it that this company believes in? And if they want to be customer centric or they're already customer centric, what are their ethos? What is it that they stand for? What's the brand for? Right? So know your company's overarching vision. For example, if you talk about Amazon's vision itself says to be Earth's most customer centric company. And Apple, for example, wants to help creative people through innovative technology, right? So you understand the vision of your organization that you are in, and then also understand the customer experience vision, and these two things can be different, and start to see its alignment, because your role is to support, improve customer experience, and help your organization deliver on their customer centric brand promise, right? And then focus on securing early wins in month two. Again, probably I've seen two kind of situations where someone is actually coming with a lot of fresh ideas because they come from a different organization. I would say, hold on. Hold on to your ideas, keep making notes, and have the patience to present it at the right time. Maybe month two is the right time, maybe month three is the right time. It depends. But don't be in a hurry to actually, because what happens is, sometimes if you're showing too much of innovation, what does it tell? If the organization is progressive and welcoming, then that's great, but sometimes it may also make the existing organization feel they are not doing good enough. So that's what I mean by, in existing ecosystem, tap into existing ecosystem, See that you are engaging with them at the level where they already are, and maybe small refinements in the process. At the right time, you will build, if you really have a lot of creative ideas based on your experience, you will bring them. So but not stopping here, you will secure certain early wins, and then owning that, really owning it, supporting people to get them feel that it's really good for them. And that really needs certain kind of maturity. That also needs building your network. That's the third element in month 2. So start to build your own network. If you want to secure early wins, you need to actually help understand people who start to believe in you, who connect with you, who actually are ready to support you in whatever you are doing. And of course, remember, they would think WIIFM. What is it? They would think, what's in it for me? Unless there is, somebody who's in the job of mentoring you or in the job of helping you in your role. That could be possible. Again, their job, that's their job. But build your network by understanding WIIFM, to understand what's in it for every one of the people you are supporting. So start to look from their point of view, rather than they just pushing your ideas and be in a hurry to secure early wins. Interesting enough, month 2, are you doing good? If you're in a new job, if you're planning to get into a new job, type in the chat box if you're already there in the new job and these ideas are helping you. Do drop me a message. I'll be happy to hear from you. Month 3, what does month 3 help you with? Again, I think building a further, start to get buy-in for the ideas that are going to come, right? So start socializing your thought process. Again, don't be in a hurry. For example, somebody I was working with from Amazon wanted to actually come up with a lot of innovative ideas in a company like Amazon, which already is doing pretty well. So, I understood that he was going patiently, slowly, and steadily. Of course, you need to secure early wins, but if you're aiming for really big projects, then big projects need more buy in. Buy in means support, other people believing in you, trusting you, and all that, right? So that's what I mean by buy in. Buy in mean being able to get people's attention, support, resources, expertise, and all that, right? So, and then if you are in a role where you have a team, start to leverage your team. That's the number 2 thing in month 3, where you start to work closely with them and start to see their strengths, what each one of them bring. Somebody could be very strong in analysis, somebody could be strong in market research, somebody could be strong in relationship building, somebody could be strong in operational system and putting together the way to deliver great, how do you systemize. So depending on what are the strengths of your team, you will start to leverage your team. And then the third element in month 3 is gear for growth. So really gear up, start to put this framework that we have talked about in month 1, month 2, and now you have learned a lot, you have built network, you know how to get buy-in, you have got noted certain innovative ideas, understood the CX vision and company's vision, and with all that you come up with something that actually plugs into companies' growth. So you help them in their bottom line and top line. Of course, your focus is improving customer experience, but the term return on investment, or somebody said ROXI, which is return on customer experience investment. Remember that you have to link what you're putting together, even if nobody is asking you. As someone who wants to be successful and succeed in your new role, build that connection. Build how helping improve customer experience will help improve companies ROI, right? So gear for growth, that's what I mean, connecting your efforts with companies growth, and that will never fail. That's a one connection that you should always have. And whatever I shared with you month 1, which I shared about accelerated learning, and then really understanding the business and political network, knowing your leadership, building rapport with your boss. Moving on to month two, aligning with the CX vision, no company vision, securing early wins in existing ecosystem, and also with you using your own innovation, building your solid network. Then month three, getting the buy-in, and then leveraging your team and gearing for growth. So these are the few things that I wanted to share with you in terms of being successful in the first 90 days. How do you find this? Was it helpful? Um, okay, let me see. I think great, Amulya. I was looking at my mind map. Thank you for joining in. I see Amulya sharing. Let me share what Amulya is saying. Amulya says, for me, second is it's still early. Okay, great. Yeah, I think Amulya is in the new role. Yes, Amulya, that's right. So if we look at really, aspects of how do you build, get buy-in, probably you're saying you're still in the early stages. Appreciate that. Okay, so with that, I think I just want to want you to, if you're watching this live or recorded, please share your comment if you have any questions on how to succeed in the first 90 days, or if you have some interesting ideas that I haven't talked about. I welcome those ideas as well. You can leave it in the chat box, or if you watch it later, feel free to drop a message. I hope you found it useful. Again, if you have any questions regarding customer experience, customer success, and how can you get successful, how can be more human-centric leader and make a positive difference, I would be happy to hear from you, your ideas and more questions. Okay, I think thank you, Neil, for joining in. I can see a question coming from Neil. Neil says, what are the most important relationship you should build within the organization during 90 days? Okay, great question. Thank you, Neil. Let me respond to that. I think so. I would say there are primarily three set of relationships that one needs to uh, build. Number one is people who have got you into the organization. So the leadership at the top, it could be your immediate leadership, people who are sponsoring you into the organizations. Typically, you could be your first level boss, and I would say start to understand next two levels of leadership as well. So if you join at a vice president level, then senior vice president, CEO, understand them. That's number one. Number two is the organization in which you have set of people who are working across organization, across, so interdepartment relationship. As a CX leader, it's super important to build interdepartment relationship, closely work with different business heads and their teams, right? So that's the second one that you have to focus on. And the third one, and that also includes your own team, that includes the team that that there's a team that reports to you and your CX organization. The number three is obviously the customers. I would say that it is super important to spend time and learn. In this one, I focused more on the internal organization, but it is super important to start to understand the customers and what do they perceive about your brand, what do they think about, what are their pain points, or and what are the opportunities that your organization have. So your leadership, the interdepartment relationship, and your team and the customers. I hope this helps. I think you need to, maybe you start to leverage this relationship in due course, but you need to have an overarching understanding of leaders vision, interdepartment relationship status, and your customers perception and needs. Right, thanks for the great question. I hope I could answer that. If you have anything else, feel free to type in the chat box now or later. I really enjoyed this, and I hope it could help few people to prepare for their next, you know, kind of breakthrough in their new job. It'll take away certain worries of performance if they're heading towards a new job and prepare them well. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. Welcome. Let me just use welcome. You welcome, Mulia. Awesome. Awesome. So that's what I think that kind of uh, and kind of brings me to the end of this. Let me just share this question that Neil had shared, a great question to which I had just answered on the screen as well. Mm, all right. So with that, I start to wrap it up. I will be happy to see any more questions that you may have to be more successful in your upcoming role as a CX leader, as a CX professional. Thank you. Thank you. Looking forward to sharing more ideas that can help you in your job, in your role as a CX professional, as a customer success professional.